my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So this reading is all about who is currently into you. So we're going to be figuring out exactly who this person is, why they like you so much, and what their intentions are. As we pass through life, we fall in and out of love with people, and people fall in and out of love with us. This happens on a platonic as well as romantic level, but today we're going to be focusing on romantic attraction. So in order to help you figure out exactly who is into you right now and whether they have the potential to be the one, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from, and I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. So the 4 minerals that you can choose from today are as follows. We have the Aquamarine, we have the Emerald, we have the Amethyst, as well as the Black Obsidian. But as usual, you guys, the timestamps are linked below in the description box, as well as pinned to the comment section by myself, so you have quick and easy access to each group. And if you end up enjoying your reading and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well as turn on your notification bell in order to never miss another reading. And just to keep my existing unicorn fam up to date, I have some very interesting content planned within these next weeks. So the content I have planned is going to be very informative as well as kind of out of the ordinary for my channel. So make sure that you stay tuned. But anyways, you guys, I want to move into the reading so we can spend more time figuring out exactly who is into you right now. So I will be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Aquamarine, and to all my other beautiful groups. I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Aquamarine. So group number 1, the Aquamarine is a very kind of cooling and calming stone. It is especially good if you're going through a very like hot-headed, hot-tempered kind of time. But let's move into your reading to figure out exactly who this person is that is crushing on you. So we have the snake spirit as well as the cow spirit. Group number 1, I don't want you to get freaked out when you see the snake. Their intentions are not bad, okay? The snake is a symbol that has a lot of different meanings. So yes, on one hand, in, how should I say, conventional terms, a snake is somebody who is not to be trusted, right? But at the same time, the snake is also a representation of a time to heal. It is a representation of shedding old skin and having like new fruitful beginnings. So one thing that I see here is that the person that is into you may be that new fruitful beginning and that you have been in need of. They may bring that energy into your life that you have been craving or that you have so urgently needed to have. Then in the cow spirit, one thing that I see here is that this person who is into you is somebody who is very resourceful. It is somebody who is doing well in their career, okay? This person is someone that you can rely on financially as well. So if anything should ever go bad, if you end up being with this person, know that they will be able to kind of like support themselves as well as you, because they're hardworking and their labor carries really big, abundant fruit, if you will. So let's move further into your reading. We have Awakening as well as the 2 of Shells. So group number 1, I want you to know in the 2 of Shells that this is one of the most favorable cards when it comes to love. Let me just make sure you can see. Okay, so we have 2 beautiful like a dove type of animals just embracing each other in harmony in like a very lovey-dovey position. So I want you to know that there is a lot of romantic energy here between you and this person and that is into you. So this seems to be mutual kind of attraction. In Awakening, I see here that the sense of like lightness, the sense of renewal is something that you will get when you are with this person who is into you. And I want you to know in correspondence to the snake spirit that this has everything to do with, as I said, shedding old skin, starting something new, and just feeling this sort of revelation, if you will, and this sense of enlightenment. Then we have the Ace of Shells as well as transformation. So group number 1, this is very interesting. I want you to know that this person who is into you is going to teach you some new things. I see that you're going to come to some new revelations as well as just this sense of kind of like oh yes, wow, why did I never even notice this? Okay, this aha moment. And I see this in correlation to the Ace of Shells as well as awakening. The fact that they're going to allow you to awaken to understanding that you're deserving of so much more than you have received in past relationships. Because one thing that I see here is just the sense that this is all new to you, okay? Somebody being just unconditionally into you, somebody liking you for who you are, not for selfish reasons, not because they want something from you, but because they truly care, okay? And it is almost like sad to say group number one, but at the same time, it's like good that you're about to experience this. It is good that you have this person in your life to bring you through this transformation that is going to liberate you from thinking like, oh, maybe I'm just destined to be with these girls, guys, people who are not 100% supportive or not 100% into me or not so in love with me like I wish that they were. And I want you to know here that this person is going to teach you that you deserve the things you desire and that you don't have to settle for less, that there are people out there who are going to give you exactly what you have always wanted, needed, and dreamt of. But let's move further into your reading. We have the disseminating moon as well as the new moon in Pisces. So feel free to refer to this person who is into you within these moon cards. I want you to know in the new moon in Pisces that yes, chances are pretty high that they might be, you know, of a water sign, that they might be a Pisces. After all, we have shells here as well as here, the two of shells and the ace of shells. And one thing that I see here is that there is somebody who likes to kind of take time to think things through. They don't come to any sort of premature conclusions. They're not the kind of person that will just like judge a book by its cover. Of course, we all have feelings that we get when we meet somebody for the first time. That is natural. That is something that you can almost like not really turn off or control very well, at least, because we all have that instinct. We instinctually feel like, oh, this person that I met, you know, for instance, me, like Vanessa, Cancerian, like either I like her because I feel connected to her because of how she speaks or because she's a Cancerian for whatever reason, or you may think to yourself like, actually, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure, you know, if she likes me, if she's sincere, so on and so forth. So we all have this impression that we get when we meet somebody for the first time, and it's different for each and every one of us. But I see here that the person that is into you tries to always give everybody a fair chance and tries to kind of like push that voice to the side that is trying to tell them how they feel, but they want to like give everybody a chance to introduce themselves, to tell their story, and not to just allow first impressions to tell a story that maybe that person didn't want to tell, you know what I mean? So in the disseminating moon, one thing that I see here is that the person that is into you is giving you a break, finally, okay? Group number one, I want you to know that if you've been needing a break in love, if you've been needing just to know if somebody is into you or not, without playing any games, without any like hemming and hawing, I want you to know that this person is the kind of person that can provide you with that, because they're kind of sick of that too. They may have once been a player type. They may have once been the type to play with people's emotions in a way that they knew might have been hurtful, but they have been hurt in the past now too. So that is the point that they had to get to in order to change for the better, in order to change to the point where they're like, okay, I want something serious, so I'm not gonna play games anymore. I'm just gonna focus on what it is that I desire in my romantic life. Then we have the eagle spirit, we have the electric eel spirit, we have the bobcat spirit, as well as the hummingbird spirit. Okay, so we also have kind of like air sign energy, okay? Gemini energy. One thing that I see here in the eagle spirit is that it's important for you to know that this person who is into you is somebody who is spiritual. They're somebody who believes that, you know, there is good in this world and people aren't always out to get you. People do not always just want to get ahead of the game just for their own selfish purposes. They really do believe in the good of people. And I see in the hummingbird spirit that they're trying to be more mindful, more present, more in the now. So if that is something that you're struggling with, I want you to know that if this connection is seen through to a stage where you're romantically together, I want you to know that this is a great person that you can focus on being mindful with and just living in the moment, okay? But I want you to know that they're also the type that will push you past your comfort zone, push you past your boundaries or what you thought were your boundaries, because they want you to create. They want you to do the things that you have dreamt of doing. They want you to bring your ideas to life. That is one thing that I see here in the electric blue spirit. Overall, group number one, I want you to know that this person who is into you, okay, is kind of very mysterious. That is one thing that I see in the bobcat spirit. And what makes them even more mysterious is just how successful they are in the earthly realms, okay? The bobcat spirit correlates to the number 8. I'm not quite sure if you can see, but it says number 8 right here, group number one. And the number 8 is the number of abundance, of earthly prosperity, of material wealth. So I want you to know that chances overall are good for this person actually being your twin flame, actually being somebody that you are meant to be with, because they're at a point in their life where, you know, they're not crazy, wild, trying to do all sorts of things. They know what they want romantically. They know what they want from love, and that is exactly what they are going to end up going for. They're not going to allow anybody or anything to seduce them into thinking otherwise. They've been there, done that. They've relapsed, they've been unfaithful, they've done all of those things, okay? They have skeletons in their closet when it comes to romance and love, but that is a closed chapter. I want you to know in the snake spirit that they have moved on from that and they're now in the process of healing, okay? The skin has been shed multiple times. They have gone through a shed and now they're able to begin on a fresh slate romantically. But group number one, this is the person who is into you. That does not mean that you have to be together. This is just the kind of qualities that they that they bring to the table, okay? So I really hope that this was insightful in helping you figure out who this person is that is into you. Maybe you've had kind of suspicions of who it is, or you have just been desiring to know what kind of person is into me right now. So I really hope that this gave you clarity. So wherever you are in this world, group number one, I really hope that you're keeping safe, that you're doing well, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number two, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the very gorgeous gemstone, which corresponds to the emerald. And I want you to know that the emerald comes in so many different qualities. You know, there are very high-end emeralds. There are raw emeralds just like this. And the fact that you chose the raw emerald just kind of says to me that you're looking for realness. You're looking for clarity. You don't want any sugar coating, which is of course what I'm going to give you. So let's get into your reading to figure out exactly who is into you right now. We have the stag spirit as well as the panther spirit. So one thing that I see first and foremost just by the animals that have appeared in your reading is the fact that the person that is into you is somebody who is very authoritative. They're somebody who has a strong presence, somebody who is maybe older than you biologically. That does not mean that they're more mature, but one thing that I see here is that they are well respected. They're kind of like the head of a community. There's somebody who is up top when it comes to social ranking, okay? So I want you to know here in the stag spirit that the person who is into you is a natural leader. This person is naturally very good at delegating tasks. They're naturally very good at being the one in charge, which will most likely reflect in their career or what they're trying to achieve in their career. So of course, if you are younger, that will make this person most likely to be a bit younger. You know, like it's a difference whether you're 20 or you're 30 years old watching this video, just as an example. That will reflect on the age of the person who is into you. And I want you to know here in the stag spirit that they may still be in the building phase, but their end goal is basically to be like the head of the company, the head of a corporation, the head of their own business. They desire to be on top. They're competitive, okay? So that is a good indicator for you to know exactly, is this the person that Vanessa was talking about in her reading or not? I want you to know here in the panther spirit the fact that they're the kind of person who loves their power, and if they don't have their power, they will do anything to reclaim it. So for instance, if something goes wrong in their job, if something goes wrong in their personal life, if they feel like they're not in the position of power, they're going to get it back. And even if they need to do so forcefully, even if they need to do so by stepping on somebody else's toes, they will do that. Group number 2. So we have the High Priestess, we have the 7 of Crystals, we have the 4 of Feathers, as well as the 4 of Acorns. Okay, so we have a very even kind of mixture of different signs, different things going on. I want you to know in the High Priestess, the fact that there's somebody who has a very, very strong intuition. They have this like divine connection, divine knowingness. And I want you to know that because they're this person who has a strong presence, because they're this person who is like top of the corporation, head of the family, head of whatever it is that they're doing, you know, they're always at the forefront. They're not afraid of hard work. I see that they have a lot of options, whether that is in love, whether that is in their career. They do not lack options. That is one thing that they're very fortunate to have, but at the same time, very well deserved, because as mentioned, they don't mind rolling up their sleeves when it comes to work. Furthermore, in the 4 of Acorns, one thing that I see is that they're kind of like, yes, they want to be first and they want to be up there, but at the same time, they always look out for what will benefit the whole community, because they know that what makes a good leader is somebody that people can talk to, somebody that people can trust and rely on. So their integrity is very important to them. They're not the kind of person that will just like screw somebody over for their own financial or social gain. I see here that they don't even have the energy for that. I see that in the 4 of Feathers. I see the fact that they just don't even have the time, the nerve to start plotting any kind of like evil plans, anything that will mean that they're going behind somebody's back for their own gain. Okay, I see in the 4 of Feathers that is just not them. Even if they wanted to get ahead and would want to do so unfairly, it's not in their nature. They're not that kind of person, okay? So know that their intentions is always to win fair and square, never in a way how they're cheating. And then we have the 3rd quarter moon as well as the North Node. So one thing that I see here in the 3rd quarter moon is the fact that this person who is into you has kind of like these intentions of changing their life, okay? So they're maybe used to this kind of like bachelor lifestyle, or this lifestyle where they're only looking out for themselves, but their intention is really to change that, is really to enter a new era of their life and become a new person. They're kind of done with where they were, and that is why they are interested in you. I want you to know here in the North Node that they're interested in you because they feel as though you make them step out of their comfort zone. You make them step out of what they thought that they desired, or the things that they know that they like, but you make them step even like a little further out of that zone, out of that circle, and show them that there's more to life. There are more things that they may have not known that they're missing out on, or that they were missing out on. So you're kind of showing them that there's another aspect of life, another part of life. So you guys are almost like polarities, if you will. But let's move further into your reading. We have the Ant Spirit as well as the Parrot Spirit. So group number 2, this is no coincidence. In the Ant Spirit, we have the number 1, and we have been talking about how they want to be first, how they want to be the one leading, how they need to be that one. I want you to know here in the Ant Spirit that this is just another reflection on that part of them, on the part of them that wants to be the leader, the part of them that wants to be first in line. But again, you know, ants collaborate. They know that in order to build greatness, in order to build something really big and meaningful, you will have to incorporate other people, other people's ideas, other people just in general. You will have to collaborate. You're not going to be capable of making a change in the world with just yourself. You need other people to kind of like pull in the same direction, to walk in the same direction, to work in the same direction in order to create something. So they are very aware of that. In the parrot spirit, I want you to know that they're kind of a little bit into gossip sometimes, okay? So group number 2, they're the kind of person who likes drama, but they like drama from afar. This person who is into you is the type who will always kind of like stick their nose in other people's business as long as they don't run risk of becoming a part of that business or a part of that drama. They're not into that. They like their quiet, peaceful life, looking into drama from the outside. And you know, you two may enjoy doing that together. Then we have the Page of Shells as well as the Two of Crystals. So in the Page of Shells, one thing that I see here is that they still have a lot to learn emotionally. So while yes, they are mature, they are this leader figure, when it comes to love and romance, they're kind of a little bit clumsy, and you're going to have to be patient and give them time to learn the ropes, or to basically just learn you, to get to know you and the things that you like romantically. Then in the Two of Crystals, I see here that they are kind of like torn between work and their personal life, their romantic life. They're struggling to find balance right now. So while they're into you and they desire to be closer to you, to spend more time with you, they're finding it almost difficult to come to a point where their adaptability to work, or how should I say that, the changeability of work mode and personal mode, where that just flows in a way that is not disruptive, that is not causing any kind of friction. That is what they're struggling with right now, okay? So yes, they are somebody who is very adaptable, who can deal with any situation, but to really have that balance between work, your personal life, making sure that everything kind of like fits under one roof, that is one thing that they're still trying to figure out. That is maybe also why they have not yet been able to come forth and admit to you that they're into you, or admit their interest to you, show their interest to you, because they still have this internal battle of trying to figure out whether they are truly, in actuality, ready for a commitment and creating this balance between work and love, or whether, you know, fear is going to take over, because fear is part of this. They are so strong on the outside. They're so strong to anybody looking in from the outside, to anybody who just sees them, meets them for the first time. But on the inside, they are kind of vulnerable. On the inside, they are very concerned with a lot of things that they just don't show. So they're going through a lot when it comes to love, group number 2, and you have to be a little understanding should you consider being with this person. So give them a little bit of patience. Group number 2, this is the reading that I received for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you clarity, maybe motivation. Let me know down in the comment section what really hit home for you, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Amethyst, group number 3, which is a gorgeous stone. I mean, who does not love a good amethyst? I want you to know that this stone brings out your psychic abilities and can just help you connect with your intuition a lot more than you usually would. So that may be why you chose this stone, or why you felt drawn to it. But I want to move into your reading to figure out exactly who this person is that is into you right now. So we have the Swan Spirit as well as the Skunk Spirit. One thing that I see here in the Swan Spirit is that this person is most likely somebody who is physically put together, somebody who is physically attractive, somebody who has those physical qualities where people on the outside may think like, oh, they just rely on their looks, they just rely on their charismatic self. But no, okay, they're the kind of person who loves deep conversation. They love to talk about just stuff that goes beneath the surface, below the surface, beneath the surface. You get what I mean, group number 3. They like to get into the nitty-gritty of situations, and in the Skunk Spirit, I see that that is because they know their worth. They don't define themselves by what they have or the kind of like social rank that they're on. They don't define themselves through material things. None of that really matters to them as much as their self-worth, as much as their value, their self-value. I want you to know here that that is why they're so comfortable speaking about things that other people would shy away from, or other people would feel uncomfortable talking about, because they feel as though if you're not talking about something that has depth to it, that it's just kind of a waste of time, and they don't really want to engage in anything that is very shallow. And then we have the butterfly spirit as well as the beaver spirit. Okay, so in the beaver spirit, one thing that I see is that this person that is into you likes to talk about things that matter to them, likes to talk about things that have more depth, that are more real, because they want to lay a solid foundation. And they do not have a lot of friends. They do not like to have a lot of people in their life. They like to have a handful of people, and they're very selective when it comes to friends as well as romantic relationships, because to them, the most important thing is to lay a solid foundation of trust, of just, you know, genuine caring about one another, and also a mutual understanding of what is important in life. So if you, for instance, find religion very important, if you find diet very important, environmental causes, they want to get to the root of who you are and the root of what it is that you find important. They do not want to move forward with you unless they know that, unless they know your story, okay? Because they want to build a solid foundation on that, on the fact that they know you, on the fact that they can connect with you through these things. And then in the butterfly spirit, I see here that they're okay with transforming into somebody who understands your struggles. So they may have, for instance, never had an eating disorder, but you may have had an eating disorder. They may have never been through depression, but maybe you've been through depression. And they want to know every little facet of who you are in order to understand and transform into somebody who can relate. So they'll never know what it feels like, obviously, especially if you've been through something like that. You know how you're so in your head, how you're so like crazy about something, and something has sucked you in so deeply that you know that somebody who hasn't experienced it could not and would not understand. But it is okay for you with this person because they make an effort to understand. They make an effort to be empathetic. They make an effort to put themselves in that position, knowing that they will never fully know. But just that effort is what really counts. Just that effort is what makes you feel deeply connected to them. So group number 3, this person who is into you definitely knows what to say, how to connect, and how to just like dive deep when it comes to conversation and when it comes to getting to know one another. Then we have the Page of Acorns, we have the Star, as well as the 8 of Acorns. So one thing that I see here in the Page of Acorns is the fact that this person who is into you is somebody who is still kind of like in a very fruitful stage of their life. They're still in a very active stage. They're most likely young, maybe younger than you, or at least just less mature, okay? So biologically, maybe they're older, but just mentally, they're young. Mentally, they're still a little bit all over the place, and they have a lot of enthusiasm for different things that other people may be too afraid to explore, too afraid to look into, but they're just like, nah, that's something I want to do, so I'm going to find a way to do it. In the 8 of Acorns, one thing that I want you to know here is that they're always very focused on results, especially when it comes to the things that they're passionate about. So money is not like their sole focus. I want you to know that it's not that. It's passion that drives them. It's going after something that kind of like lights them up, something that sparks joy in them, if you will. So I want you to know here in the Star that a lot of their personality is based on their hobbies, is based on the things that they're interested in and that they're passionate about. So this may be sports, working out, or something like animal rights, you know, human rights, something that really drives them to the point where they're so passionate about it that they will yell at somebody. They will fight somebody if they need to. If there's, for instance, an animal being mistreated, or somebody is just dumping trash all over the place, they will go and do something if they need to, no matter what it takes, okay? So they're a very passion-filled person, and this reflects romantically as well. They like to try out new things romantically. They like to be adventurous romantically, if you know what I mean, and they need somebody who is kind of comfortable in their body, or is willing to express why they're uncomfortable in their body in order for them to understand better, and in order for them to then be able to kind of somehow find a way to make you comfortable. Then we have the 9 of Feathers as well as the 5 of Feathers. So as you may kind of already begin to feel, group number 3, communication is very important with this person who is into you. So there is a chance for, you know, a true romantic love, true romantic connection, maybe even a twin flame connection, but it cannot come to fruition unless there is very strong communication where you're telling them how you feel. Then I see here in the 5 of Feathers that a lot of it has to do with you letting down your guard, okay? I see here that you can't be strategic with them. They can feel that. They can feel out any kind of discrepancy between who you really are and who you're pretending to be. So I want you to know that in correlation to the Amethyst, this may be exactly why these cards have showed up in your reading in order to warn you that this person who is into you, if you put up one version of yourself when you just get to know them, I mean, we all put up a more polished and refined version when we just meet somebody. Let's not joke around here, let's not lie. I mean, we all do that. But as you move further into the connection, as you get to know them better, it's important for you to not continue with that facade for too long, or to not kind of put yourself in a position where you act like you're not vulnerable at all, like you're not emotional at all, when you know in actuality you're an emotional person, or even sometimes an emotional wreck, if you will, group number 3. But, you know, not trying to throw any shade here, because I would just be calling myself out as well. So don't try and be too like tougher than you are. They will notice, okay? It will become noticeable and evident to them. In the 9 of Feathers, one thing that I see here is that they're very forgiving, okay? They can switch their perspective from their standpoint to your standpoint and understand why you may have done something. And they're always trying to get you to a point where you feel empowered to tell the truth, where you feel empowered to be yourself. They don't want a refined version of you. They don't want a version of you that is like approved, okay? They don't want a version of you that has been edited, that has been photoshopped. They want the real, raw truth, okay, with pimples and ingrown hairs and all of that stuff. They want human, okay, because that's really what we are. And so often we spend so much time fighting against what is just natural, just because, you know, we don't think it's normal anymore because nobody advertises that, nobody talks about it. So we think something is wrong with us, or something needs to change, something needs to be like tweaked and refined, when we have all of these normal human experiences and things happening with our bodies that, as I said, is just human. But they know better than that. They know, just like I said, what is normal, what is human, and what is natural, and that is what they seek. And then we have the full moon in Aries, as well as the mutable moon. So one thing that I see here in the mutable moon is the fact that this person is into you right now. But if there is no contact, if you're not kind of like acting on it, if they're not able to act on these feelings, then this is not set in stone. Then they will move on. Then they will go to a situation where they feel more recognized, okay? Recognition is to a certain degree important to them when it comes to love. And I want you to know here in the full moon in Aries that there is a chance coming very, very rapidly towards you and this person where you're able to connect, where you're able to make that kind of like connection emotionally and see where things go, okay? I want you to know here that this fiery climax is approaching, where you can figure out whether you're compatible or not, whether you would like to see this connection through or not, but it is really just that one chance, that one opportunity. And if it doesn't work out, or say their interest or their love for you is not reciprocated, then they are the kind of person who will move on, because rejection is hard on them, okay? So group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you insight as well as clarity. Let me know down in the comment section what hit home the most, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the black obsidian, group number 4, and an indicator as to why you chose this stone may be because you need a little bit of protective energy when it comes to your love life, because you're done with games and uncertainty. But let's move into your reading to end the uncertainty, to figure out exactly who is into you right now. So we have the Rhino spirit as well as the Porcupine spirit. First and foremost, in the Rhino spirit, I want you to know that this person who is into you is somebody who is very strong, and they have overcome a lot of different obstacles. They have gone through a lot of stuff in their life that they have had to overcome all by themselves, like a lone wolf, and it was not easy. But I see here in the Porcupine spirit that they kept like resetting their mind over and over again. So when somebody who, for instance, had yellow eyes and purple skin hurt them, if they meet somebody again that has yellow eyes and purple skin, they would not just stick to their experience that they had in the past. They would give this person a new chance, a fresh chance. They keep kind of moving on in life, giving situations and people a fresh slate, because they understand there are good people and bad people in the world, and a bad experience does not need to define them or love. So they are, because of that, a hopeless romantic. They are somebody who likes to surprise their partner with, you know, gifts, with trips, with things that are just thoughtful, because they still believe in the good. They still believe in that kind of really overly romanticized love, and that Disney movie kind of love. So if that is what you're into too, group number 4, I want you to know that this person might just be your perfect match, your perfect twin flame. Then we have the Horse spirit as well as the Bee spirit. Okay, so group number 4, I want you to know here in the Bee spirit is that there's somebody who has a little bit of a chaotic life, a little bit of a chaotic way of doing work, okay, of doing business, but at the end of the day, they get things done, and that is like undeniably what they are capable of. They're capable of things being all over the place, because in their mind, it's like it gets worse before it gets better. It's just like when you're decluttering or cleaning up, like there is a stage where it's worse than where you began, but in the end, it'll all work out. In the end, it'll be clean, it'll be organized, and what had to be done is going to be done. I see here in the Horse spirit that they're the kind of person who needs the freedom to do their projects as well as their work the way they want to do it. So if you chose this group, leave a little horse emoji down below in order to let me know, group number 4. So one thing that I see here in the Horse spirit is, yes, they need that freedom, but at the same time, being in a relationship, they're okay to narrow that freedom down to kind of like a space that is okay for each party involved, not just them. So they're not selfish. They're not the kind of person who loves freedom just for selfish reasons. They're the kind of person who needs freedom in order to be able to do their work in their own way, okay? They don't like to be told how to do things. So clearly we have some cards here, group number 4, that want to speak for themselves within your reading and tell you exactly who is into you right now. So we have the 10 of shells, we have the 8 of shells, as well as the 7 of shells. All shells, group number 4. This is no coincidence, I know. Critics will say it's a coincidence, but is it though? Because shells correspond to water signs, and you may get along really well with water signs. For instance, Cancerians, like myself, which is most likely why you're here in this video. And I want you to know here that there's somebody who can express their emotions very well. So if this person is around you, they will most likely be able to tell you how they feel. Yes, at times they can be a little bit overly emotional, overly dramatic. They need attention, but at the same time, you know, they're so loyal. They're the kind of person who is understanding as long as you speak to them and tell them how you feel as well. I want you to know here in the 10 of shells, the fact that they are in a good place in their life, and romantic love, being in a relationship, is just that cherry on top for them. They don't need it. They don't like desire it more than anything. They just know that if love comes into their life, it has to be good. It has to be like it, if you know what I mean. Then in the 8 of shells, one thing that I see here is that they're constantly like kind of like on this quest to better themselves. I see that here in the 8 of shells as well as the 7 of shells. So on one hand, they have, you know, a lot of different options, and on the other hand, with all of these options, they are sometimes really afraid to make the wrong choice, to make the wrong decision. So they're always trying to make the best choice for themselves and everybody who's involved, everybody around. And that kind of pressure can really get to them, which is why they need somebody who can get them out of that overly critical headspace. Somebody who can say like, hey, babe, honey, dude, just relax, okay? Just don't freak yourself out too much. Don't feel like all of this weight is just all on your shoulders. You're not responsible for every single person in this world. Then we have the Star. Okay, so one thing that I see in the Star is the fact that they're the kind of person who is always like looking for the best in every situation, in every person. So they have to focus on that with themselves. The problem here with your person, group number 4, is that they are too giving and trusting, too concerned with other people, which may be even a point of contention if you end up being in a relationship with this person, because they're so concerned with everybody around them, they forget about themselves. They can sometimes forget about you if, say, somebody else is in a dire need and you just basically tell them, oh, I'm fine, you know, I can deal with it myself, even though you know you're not fine, but you don't want to be that person who is needy, so you just say you're fine. But that could turn to a point of contention because they're then actually thinking you're fine. How dare they? And spending a lot of time with other people, taking care of others. You know what I mean, group number 4? So that is one thing where I see they need a little bit of direction, but you have to do it in a very loving way, because otherwise it will just turn to discussions, to arguments, to fighting, because they feel as though you're taking them away from their duty. They feel as though you're not letting them kind of take care of the people who need it the most. Then we have the supermoon, as well as the full moon in Aquarius. So we have a little bit of air sign energy here as well. So communication, pretty important. I want you to know here, however, in the supermoon, that what we just spoke about being emotional, about things kind of moving over into arguments if you don't tell them in a very loving way. That is one thing that I see in the supermoon. You know, emotions can run high very easily with this person, group number 4. So I want you to know that you have to kind of like give them space to just do what they need to do. And when they're done doing what they need to do, that is when you sit them down and say, hey, next time I think you should do it like this. Next time I think you should focus on this. You get what I mean? Because when they're in the midst of something and then they're already so invested, they're already so emotionally consumed, that trying to teach them then is not going to help. It's just like when you're driving somewhere and somebody makes, let's call it a mistake, or is impatient, or is just doing something that they're not supposed to do on the road. It's dangerous, it's forbidden, it's not how traffic works. And you know, there are people who will try to teach that person by honking, by flipping them off, by yelling, by getting out of the car, and then there are people who are just like whatever. And I want you to know that when somebody is in the moment, just like when they're driving, you can't teach them. Okay, they're just going to drive off even more pissed off, even more annoyed, putting even more people in danger, even though basically all you were trying to do is like shake them and say, hey, don't you understand that this is not what you should be doing? So I want you to know that you have to like let them get out of the driving vehicle before they do any more damage, and then sit them down and talk to them. So that is just kind of like the analogy that I'm trying to make here, group number 4. But I think you get exactly what I mean. So in the full moon in Aquarius, I want you to know that they are the kind of person who is constantly pushing you to show the world your real you. Okay, they feel as though you've been hiding a lot of yourself. Maybe you have some talents that you have not expressed, that you have not lived out, that you have not been able to see through, but they want you to finally do so. They want you to stop making yourself smaller than you are. And we have the 8 of Acorns as well as the Page of Acorns. I see that you can bond over things that you love, over things that you're passionate about, which is why they're pushing you to fulfill your passion. So they are most likely doing a lot of things that they're really into, a lot of things that they feel like they have a genuine talent in. That is one thing that I see here in the 8 of Acorns, okay? They're pretty abundant when it comes to that. And I see here in the Page of Acorns that you are kind of like their, I don't want to say protege, I don't want to say muse. You're almost their apprentice, okay? They are showing you how you can incorporate more experiences, more things that you love, make more room for the things that you've always wanted to do. So they're trying to teach you that. They're trying to bring you kind of on that wave of reminding yourself what is really important in life, because sometimes you can just get so in over your head with work, with, you know, not even knowing where you're pushing towards, but you just know you're pushing yourself really hard, that you don't actually take a moment to just take a step back and figure out what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish, or where it is that you can actually make adjustments and maybe just get to where you desire to go a lot quicker, okay? So I see them helping you a lot with that group number 4. So group number 4, this is a reading that I received for you. I really hope that it gave you clarity on who is into you, the kind of person that they are, and what it would be like to see this connection through. Let me know down below in the comment section what really hit home for you, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos.